Hey all, um, doing another inking tutorial here. Again, staying with Halloween type theme, being that it's October. So in this demonstration, I actually wanted to do this without using any fancy equipment, just using an extra fine tip Sharpie. And the technique that I'm going to focus on is the cross hatching. So the first thing that I do is take a few minutes and go over and make my pencil lines permanent, making whatever adjustments I want. Once I'm done making the lines permanent, I'm going to go ahead and rub out any pencil lines that I can still see. Now I'm ready to start working on my first layer. We're going to use the flame as the light source. So I'm going to start with one layer at a time, and I'm just going to start to kind of build this up a little bit at a time, picking out more or less where the darker shadows are going to be and putting in my first layer. The reason that I like to do one layer at a time is because it gives me much more control as to where the shadows are going to be. So if I start off light, I'm okay, because I can always add more layers to make an area darker. But if I start off really dark and I change my mind, it's kind of difficult to fix when you're working with ink. And yes, you could use whiteout and other products, but they tend not to look as clean as if you just kind of plan ahead a little bit. I did use a little bit of scribbling techniques just to add some texture to the stairs, and I'm kind of using broken lines here to draw the stone patterns on the wall. And then right back to cross hatching. Anytime that I'm working on a piece like this, I'm not just focusing on one area at a time. I'm always looking at the entire thing and building up sections that I feel need to be revisited. So from time to time, you'll see me stop and do some drawing and then go back to cross hatching. Still working mostly to identify which areas are going to be in the shadows. So by putting in my first layer, it kind of starts breaking up of all that white. Once the first layer is complete, I'm going to go ahead and start deciding which areas need to be even darker. And then I'm going to start working with multiple layers. This process does take a little bit of time, but once you get into a nice rhythm, it's actually pretty satisfying. In all, it took me about 35 minutes to do just the cross hatching part of this. So here I'm adding a few cast shadows underneath this cape, and I'm deepening up the shadows where the creases are going to be, separating the tie from his white shirt by putting a little shadow underneath the tie, and so forth and so on. If you struggle doing this without mapping it out, you can always take a few minutes prior to cross hatching, take a pencil, and kind of lay out your map. Figure out which area is going to be really dark, which area is going to be pure white, which areas are going to be somewhere in the middle. So in our previous video, remember that white, we write it down as a 0. The darkest value, we write it down as a 4. And then the light, medium, and dark, we use 1, 2, and 3. And the numbers tell you how many layers to use. The more layers you use, the darker the area becomes. I'll put a link to that video there in case you want to see how I map that out. But I'm comfortable enough that I don't really map things out anymore. I just kind of like visualize where the shadows are going to be, where the highlights are going to be, and then the area in between, those are my transition areas. So those are going to be one of the three midtones. When I got to the stones, I decided that I wanted to actually put in the cross hatching on the mortar first. And the reason for that is because I kind of want the mortar to help me define what the stones are going to look like. So I went ahead and did all of the cross hatching first, and even without outlining them, you can actually see the stones being defined so much better now, just because of that nice little shadow between them. And then I'm able to go back using a little bit of scribbling and kind of give the stones a little bit of texture so they're not so perfect. And then I kind of like pick out areas so that just to better define the edges of the stones. A little bit more work on the character. And then I was looking at the left side and it looks so empty. And the stairs look so white. So I decided right on top of the scribbling to add one layer of cross hatching just to add a little bit of a soft shadow. And then for the big wall, I decided to do a little bit of scribbling to give it texture. And then on the areas that are furthest away from the flame, just put in a little bit of cross hatching just to make them look a little bit darker.